Welcome to the OFX Podcast 2024 edition. I'm Dave Claxon. Along with me, as always, is there our plunging princess, Bethany McChesney. Did you even do the polar plunge? But I know you did the ice bath. Like I saw you did the ice bath
Yeah,
again.
I did it this morning. I've gone in lakes before. Like I didn't do it today anywhere. A lake dip when the water is moving is much more intense for sure.
Is it? Because I would think
Yeah,
that lake temperature actually, like if you were to go in like, say, Lake Ontario, Lake Huron, or whatever, that the temperature doesn't fluctuate as much.
it doesn't. But the thing is moving water is more intense because when you're sitting in a cold tub, if you don't move, you get this tiny thermal layer on the outside of your skin. But when the water is moving, then that can't happen. So it's like a constant, really, really cold, cold water. So, and that's why, like some of these expensive cold tubs have a circulation factor. So it keeps it more intensely cold. And then
Yes.
imagine you're in the lake and if there's any sort of waves at all, like you kind of get used to the water hitting a certain line on your body, and then any like an inch above that line is like instantly like that's a little bit colder or like a little drip of something. Like we're underneath an awning and sometimes when it's raining it drips like right on your head. And so like that little bit of extra is hard. So when there's waves and the water's moving, it is more challenging.
Well, and everybody has like those lines, right? When you dip in the water right there. So there's like when you get to your junk and that's like, whoa, you die there. And then when it
Yeah.
hits your belly, and then when it hits your nipples, and then when you
Yeah.
go underwater.
Yeah. And then the armpits are intense
Oh
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
uh-huh.
I don't know. I still haven't done it. I was tempted at Worlds. I was very tempted.
Uh-huh.
Very tempted. Just didn't happen. Um, but you look like you had busy classes this morning. Like,
I
is it
did. And actually, more people showed up than were signed up, which I was honestly thinking like we had a lot of signups this morning. And I don't normally do it January 1st, but again, I wasn't doing anything really last night. So I was like, oh, I'll get people started off on a good foot and invited people to bring their bathing suits for cold plunge and stuff who'd never really done it before. And we had like a handful more people than originally had signed up. So we ended up with a very full gym, which was awesome. A couple people, well, one in particular, anyways, that was really dragged there.
it?
That was super hungover, and there might have been a bit of puking after, but
Ah,
but she showed up. But yeah, it was a good group. It was really awesome actually to have that many people out in on a morning class on January 1st.
you know what? I mean, we see a lot of the posts and stuff and hear the griping from the regular gym goers, the consistent gym goers. Oh no, the New Year's people are coming and all this stuff. You know
Mhm.
what? Come. Anybody who's
I know.
through them, to hell with them. It's your
I
stuff.
know. You have to encourage
Have
it,
fun.
right?
Get
And
in it.
I mean, especially in the big box gyms, there's a lot of memes going around right now, like, making fun of like what the new people do in the gym and stuff. But I'm like, at least they're there. Like I know of it is extremes and like just to kind of be funny and stuff. But I mean, maybe those 3 weeks and it will calm back down and there will people be that drop off, but like you have to make people feel welcome for in order for them to stay. Like if you're just constantly making fun of like the busy gym and the people that don't know what they're doing, they're not going to stay. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same. Like, just bring them in, help them out, get them
yeah.
sorted, get them started, make them feel welcome, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, So I did well, a couple of things. We're going to talk about like this year and kind of do some awards and stuff. Bethany has a fantastic New Year's hat on, by the way, if you're just listening. It's beautiful New Year's hat. Um, couple of things I wanted to get into. One, now I did a New Year's workout challenge thing. Did you do it?
Did I do it? Oh, was it a
No.
thing?
Well, I don't know if it was a thing. A lot
Oh,
of people were doing the 365 burpees for every day of the year, right? 365 burpees.
oh, yeah, no.
Um,
I didn't do that.
so I saw that, but I did 365 ram burpees instead and I used the 44-pound one. And
Mhm.
you know what? It went pretty good. I didn't try to kill it. I went
Mhm.
to an EMOM and just did 8 a minute or whatever it was, like 45 minutes
Yeah.
or whatever it was. And it wasn't too bad. The worst thing that happened was I got a blister on the side of my pinky finger from the ram going up and down. Admittedly, I do feel a little shoulder tension, but nothing really bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought. But
Yeah.
it was a lot. It was a lot of ram burpees. That was
Hmm.
But it was all right, and it was good fun. It was not too
Yeah,
bad.
that's a good one. I did a couple hundred or so burpees last week in our charity, or 2 weeks ago, I guess now.
Yeah, a couple
But
hundred.
yeah, if you take your time, it's not too bad.
No, no, no. I mean, I had a good sweat going, left in a good puddle in the garage.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's probably still there because of the coldness. It didn't dry out that fast, but yeah, I threw on one of the races from Deck Worlds and just burpeed away for 45 minutes or whatever it was,
Hmm.
and it was only like eight of them takes like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
and then you got 30 seconds rest, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So it was
Hmm.
yeah, it was good fun though. Anyway, and it was good. And I got to show off my new Ram shirt. I had a new Ram shirt, so that was good. It's good to show that
Hmm.
off.
Little promo.
Yeah, a little promo. Two other thing. Oh, another thing for me, probably the most logical partnership of all time. Finally, I finally got to be an athletic brew ambassador.
Yeah.
Still setting up all this stuff, so I don't have a code yet or anything like that. But that seemed like something finally logical to happen. I didn't
Hmm.
even drink New Year's Eve. Like I
Yeah.
almost don't touch it anymore. It's not like a rule. It's just kind of like, I don't
Just
bother.
kind of happened.
Yeah, yeah, it just kind of
Hmm.
evolved that way. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm happy about that. But no, I wanted to get that. I'm happy. That should be good. We'll put up some good posts and
Yeah.
put some effort into it and whatnot. Another thing we had, congrats to JFit, who is going to be, what is it? What is the word? General manager,
He's the Canadian High Rocks ambassador or coordinator.
coordinator, general manager, or something like this. Not an
Yeah.
ambassador. I think. Yeah, where she's on it. She's looking it up. Technicalities.
Hmm.
But yeah, congrats. I mean, he's a good guy, and I think he'll do really well. And he knows High Rocks very well. He's new to the area,
Hmm.
but it's definitely integrating himself very quickly, and is a great guy. And I'm looking for regional manager Canada.
There you
That's
go.
there you go, there you
Mhm.
go. And yes, we had to import a guy for it, but whatever, that's fine. No, I'm excited. I think it's going to be good, and hopefully we'll have some good High Rock stuff coming up.
Hmm.
That'll be exciting. Um, you put out a post before. I don't know, didn't even mention this to you, but a diet post you put out when you were talking something about the diets. Do you remember that?
I did.
Thought you did.
Did
I
I?
wrote down here Bethany's diet post.
I mean, I could have. I don't remember. Was
Um,
it like, was I slamming diets?
I think you were just making realistic comments, just like, just be realistic and eat healthy most of the time, and kind of
Yeah.
it was just a realistic stuff. I like it when people put it. Tara does it a lot too. Puts out realistic. Have a good relationship with food.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
and I mean, Tara and I have our own histories too with food issues, but I mean, I own a gym and I'm at a group training facility. So everyone at this point wants like your 21-day fit fixes and your strict diet programs. And I honestly entirely moved away from it in my gym because for one, I find people don't follow it after a certain amount of time if it doesn't suit their lifestyle at all. And it's just like you don't want to have the pressures around restrictive eating. Like if it's not a way that you could see yourself eating for the rest of your life, or at least like 80% of your life, because we need, times where we kind of let things go anyways, then just like don't bother. And I think gradual changes over time is really what sticks with people. Learn new recipes, try to focus on just eating more protein and see what happens. Like, I think if you focus on a general healthier rule, or, each meal, like, how could I make this a little bit more nutrient dense or higher protein? Like that is better for long term. I can't stand programs that are super number focused, especially when it's a calorie thing. There's so much negative thought processes that can get around food and create more like fears and phobias and disorders around that. So I don't do it in my gym. We don't focus on that. And even when my clients come in and they're like, I want to lose 10 pounds, and then I usually say, well, what do you want to gain? And then they're like, "What?
Ooh.
Excuse me?"
Ooh.
Like, well, like, do you want to gain strength? Do you want to gain more confidence? Do you want to gain the ability to run 5K? Like, what do you want to gain? Like, every shouldn't always be about. And I say also, I use the term trying to shrink yourself on the planet. Like, why are you trying to become less? Like, let's become more. In the process, people lose, right? Lose weight or fat or whatever.
I'm
And they,
sold. Those are good lines, Beth. Well done.
well, thank you. Yeah, so that those are the kind of things that I ask my clients. What do you want to gain? And then just, stop trying to be less. Like why what difference, like why would you want to take up more space in the world? Like become more. Mhm.
That's awesome. I'm sold. I'm gonna steal it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I'll like over the holidays, I ate like a savage. I mean, I just devoured everything, and
Yeah.
that was the plan. That was the plan.
Mhm.
Pretty much from after Worlds, right? Was take a little break, get back to working out, and then over the holidays, just eat like a savage, work out as best you can, and then
Mhm.
come back to reality when it's time to go back to work and get back into the real world. And
Yeah.
that's what's going on. But it's I we had a conversation with one of the ladies at Farm Girl where she's like, I have not lost weight, and we're like, who cares?
Yeah.
You do so much more. Like, she could barely survive the beginning of a workout. Now she can slam it all the way through, and
Hmm.
she's stronger, she's faster, she's fitter. Like, who cares? Throw the fucking scale away.
I know. And I don't even own, well, there might be a scale in this house. I don't know, but I don't own one. But I tell my clients to get rid of it because, and the thing too, especially with, you have to think longevity and the ability to do all those, to be stronger. And I mean, especially with the aging process and your aging clients, where like to be able to be strong and to like deadlift your body weight is remarkably important for longevity and like your bone health. And your muscle tissue is really your key to longevity and your ability to stay healthier and independent and doing. And I mean, just think about like the ability for her to do more things opens up the world for her. Like even things, you go on a vacation and you can do these crazy awesome hikes and you can see views with your own 2 feet that you couldn't otherwise. Like who cares if you are 10 pounds less or 10, like the world is so much bigger when you're fit. And so, like, and the same thing, that's why I say the same thing. Like, don't worry about what the scale says. Like, and people just focus so much on it. And I wish this year would be the year of like, just throw away the scale and the weight loss programs. Like, get stronger, get fitter, do some awesome things. Cause you feel so much more satisfaction too, like crossing a finish line than, oh, I hit a number on a scale. And then it's like, well, now what?
Let's go have a pie to celebrate.
Right. Like, or I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same. And I think you'd get it if you haven't yet in your life, like really trained for something and threw yourself into it and then you accomplished it and there was a physical thing and maybe it was one of these big scary goals that you didn't think you could do and then you did it. And you also gain this respect for your body. That's your body can do more than you think.
Mind you, maybe we shouldn't throw away the scale though, because Spirit Airlines is a real tyrant about overweight on the baggage, and it's expensive. So you might
I
hold
maybe
on.
not having a scale would have saved me a couple $100 with
It
travel.
saved you a little money there. Me too. But I think we were 8 pounds over or whatever. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my boy introduced me to, he said, what is it? Lynx Airline too, seems to be one in Canada that
Okay.
for cheap flights on. And same kind of deal, right? Bargain basement, cheap flights,
Yeah.
just stay within the realms of
Yeah.
weight and
Mhm.
size on your luggage, otherwise you get toasted.
Mhm.
I wanted to tell you about this before, but I forgot to. So I got my Air Relax pants or boots or whatever. I absolutely love them. I use them all the bloody time. But I
Mhm.
did have a near-death experience in them.
Like,
So this is going to be a bit of a subtle warning for anyone who's new to them, right? I had put in a good workout that day and everything, and then I was in them a long time, and I was just watching TV. And all of a sudden, I got a calf cramp, and the thing was completely inflated. It was just like,
can't you unzip them quickly?
well, yeah, you kind of, but the air's got to go out of them, and it's like, and I couldn't because it makes you bend your foot straight up because that's the way it's in when it compresses it. Well, when you get your calf
Yeah.
cramp, the foot wants to straighten right out. So it's just agony down my leg, and I'm trying to get this thing off, and Riley's running over, and we're unplugging it. It was a bad calf cramp too. It was a
Oh
real good
no.
one, but I was like, oh, first near-death experience in air relax. So if you at all feel cramps coming on
Mhm.
calves, maybe wait a little bit,
Maybe hydrate before going in
hydrate
them.
a little bit, and then yeah, and just hold off because it was
Mhm.
painful. It was very funny, but it was painful. So, I don't know, but near-death experience.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, we were gonna go through some like award sort of things and like kind of really just stuff that we got. and I actually prepped you. I gave you time to think about it rather
Thank
than, which is
goodness.
unusual because normally I just like to drop things on Beth.
Mm.
All right. So do you have one you want to start with?
I think the order that you sent them to me was a pretty good order.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So we'll start. I guess, yeah. So we start with the big one then. So
Oh, unless you want to do it in reverse. Maybe
yeah,
reverse
let's
makes more sense.
do it in reverse. Okay. So
Okay.
actually, and this one, actually, if we're doing it in reverse, this one, and I think I sent this to you. I just want to make sure. But I guess it's kind of a funny one.
You
This would
are going
be
to throw something at me you didn't prepare me for.
no. I think it was on the list, but it was worst event of the year.
Okay, yeah, you did.
I
Yeah.
did. Okay. Do you want to go first for that?
Well, this one I struggled with again because like I didn't go to everything, so I don't know for sure. But when I was thinking about it, like a singular event, I don't know. I think some of the world championships this year in the OCR world were very under attended. I don't know the experience of them, but what I decided to write down for this one was actually not a single event, but a series. So I wrote down the Spartan 3K.
Ooh.
hmm I just think this was a ended up probably being a bit of a flop, and for multiple reasons. And a lot of the athletes talked about it too. Some of it being it was on a Friday, there was no spectators. And then the elimination rounds and then the final rounds, I think that really didn't go as well as people wanted. And then I think the draw for people to travel to these 3K races was just not there. Because with the even just with the possibility of only racing a 1K and then being eliminated. And then I think the courses weren't as obstacle dense as people had hoped they would be. Like we had some races that were solely just based on a really long bucket carry. And yeah, I don't think there was enough innovation in the courses as you could have in a really exciting 3K. Um, yeah, so I think that the three Spartan 3K series might have been the worst.
That's pretty good. And here's the disappointment for me on you saying that, and on a lot of people saying that, is I think still that the short course OCR is a fantastic idea. It's
Mhm.
proven in OCRWC and the 3K to be very popular. Even the OCR 100-meter stuff is catching on and
Yeah.
being popular. A lot of the ninjas are jumping over and enjoying it. Um,
I did forget one thing about the sprint 3K also was the pistols. I think were
ah,
also it was awful to watch. And I think even in the race, people said they didn't even know if their laser was hitting the target, and then all of a sudden they would be. And sometimes they would hit it and they wouldn't even know that they hit it. Spectator wise, the spear is much more spectator fun to watch. You know if they hit it or if they didn't.
who'd have thought you'd ever long for the spear throw,
I know,
right?
right?
Like,
But
you
yeah, I
know,
think the pistol was also a miss.
and that's the thing. Like to me, it was so poorly executed
Mhm.
in just all the points you made. Friday night, the way it was entered, the oddness of the 1K qualifiers and 3K thing. I mean, we have there's dozens of ways that that thing could have been improved, tons of times, and really, and again, still not putting. So OCR report covered them, but I mean, as far as I know, Spartan didn't really help them. Like help those guys out. They're pushing, they're trying to build your sport. They're doing everything they can. And so it was, I think, short course OCR is a great idea, and that was a really crappy execution of it.
Mhm.
And it's sad to me that now that idea is going to flounder for a long time, maybe forever, because it was done very half-assed and not at all like we had kind of been alluded to it was. And the
Mhm.
lack of density of obstacles was just tragic. I mean, sometimes there was like seven of them, even in Dubai. Like there was a multi-rig, and that was like your only difficult obstacle, which
Mhm.
takes away from it. It's just a shorter running race.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will say that that's a good choice. It's not my choice though. And I did not have a hard time picking my choice because in my mind, and it was kind of a series, not just one race, Battle Bunker. Battle Bunker was a complete
Mhm.
shit show from moment one. The whole pipeline, interesting concept, really. It's just CrossFit Open concept, but didn't seem like a lot of people bought into it. Um, and then they had these, they were doing regionals, which they couldn't fill because people didn't want to go. And then the people who won at regionals didn't want to go to the finals. And then they're just bringing in random CrossFitters and people that they know that didn't earn their way. And then they get to the finals and it's nothing like the regionals. And they're bobbing up and down in the water, doing bizarre, weird things. And it was honestly, it was a predictable mess. And so, I mean, it was
Yeah.
tragic. The only thing I could say good about it was there were some amazing athletes in it. And that's
At the
about
beginning of it, for sure.
Yeah, and even at the end, I mean, there were some good athletes at the end. They might not be the people you thought were going to be there because those
Hmm.
people didn't go, but
Yeah.
it was it was still some great athletes, and again, just kind of weird systems and rules and stuff. So to me, the Battle Bunker was just it was the biggest,
A flop.
worst event of the year in my mind, and
Hmm.
I just hope if they do it again, I hope they change it a lot.
Hmm.
At least make it what it is. Because when you're doing the qualifiers and it's like, okay, we're doing and again, it's not my style, but we're doing max 3 reps of overhead press and squat and deadlift or whatever. And then we're doing this Metcon and a lot of that. And then you get to the finals and you are quite literally bobbing up and down in water. I don't even understand how that event worked yet. Or you're doing a thing where you're each pushing on a pugil stick trying to push each other out of a ring. And I'm like, this is nothing like what people did to qualify.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you thought running a 1K to qualify for a 3K made no sense, doing a 3 rep max squat to bob up and down in the water makes way less sense.
Yeah.
So I just, yeah, biggest shit show mess of the year by sure. So worst event of the year in my mind. Although I'll be honest, I didn't even think of the 3K, but you're absolutely right. It deserves it deserves mention. Um, while we're here, what do you think of Spartan announcing prize money for the Elite Series? Like I think there's prize money for the final, right? Like whoever places first, second, third in the series, but the individual races will not have prize money.
Well, I mean, it probably doesn't come as a surprise to people. Like, have they still recovered prize money from 2021?
But not everybody.
Yeah, so how about sort that out first before you start offering new people money? Like, it's not a surprise to me. I mean, it will change the face still. Spartan, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of attention around Spartan racing this year until World Championships or Greece trifecta. Except the 3K was like again hit or miss, but it doesn't surprise me. And I mean, if Spartan is doing well again, at least in Canada, in the masses in the age group type athlete, so I mean, you're gonna disappoint some of the top elites who race for the money, but I mean, at the end of the day, their money doesn't come from them. So,
Surprisingly to me, some people are losing their shit about it.
well,
And
of course, the
but
people that race for money.
I'm surprised because I'm like, they're the same people that are complaining that Spartan doesn't pay their bills. Well, at least now they're not lying to you. They're not saying, "Hey, you're going to get this money and you don't get it for 2 years or whatever the case may be." They're saying, "Hey, we're not, this is what it is. Come if you want,
Yeah.
don't come if you want." And I'm like, I look at it two ways. One, if Spartan does this, doesn't give the prize money out and catches up and pays off all their debts and their bills, between whatever, prize money owed,
Vendors.
contractors, affiliate,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be, pays all their bills and doesn't give out prize money, fan freaking tastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. But if they still don't catch up on the money and they do this, then I'm like, you guys are fucked. Like,
Yeah, and hopefully maybe we have one more year where Spartan is, and they're taking more of a grassroots approach. Like their ambassador program, they push a lot, and there are a lot of people that love Spartan for Spartan, and that are the open waivers, and they're the ones really pushing and getting groups of people in it and doing it as a team. And it's kind of going back to the roots of Spartan also, with like a bit more of a team focus and just getting more people again doing their first Spartan race. And so I mean, if it's a year where it's a rebuild year as a company, then so be it.
yeah, and you're right, like the open waves and stuff. I would love to take some of the farm girls out to do their first Spartan and have a good time and all this stuff. And I did the open at Blue this time and had a blast. It was fun. It was a riot.
Yeah.
But if they want to grow the competitive side again, get it back rolling again, I do think they need to bust it down like they're doing. And I don't think not offering prize money is a bad thing, and that is a bit of a hot take right now, as it would seem. But that's provided they follow through.
But and again, like, and I talked about this on a previous episode before too, there is still a lot that you can do for podium winners. That
Hmm.
doesn't have to be prize money, and it can be on the spot, and you hand them some merch, give them a hoodie and a free race code. And for the most part, people would be very happy with that. So, I mean, it's more than I got any of my podiums this year in Canada.
Yeah,
So it's again, it's simple, and it's kind of how like your local road races go to, and I don't know. Just give them something.
I think that's a drum we need to keep beating.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's yeah, because that is the answer, right? Like just stuff. I mean, hell,
Even those elite athletes, the podium winners wearing Spartan gear, like
yeah,
get them, throw them some gear. Like
yeah.
that's free advertising. They're going to wear it when they work out.
Just get them a case of athletic brew light.
Yeah. Give them a case of
Oh
beer, give them a
hi.
hoodie, a free race code.
Hmm.
I'd be happy.
Mhm. Absolutely. All right. So that was kind of a sidetrack. So worst event of the year, Spartan 3K Battle Bunker. You guys can decide what you think is worst. We'll go from there. Um, Biggest upset of the year. All right. You want to fire away or you want me to go first?
Did I go first last time? So you go first this time.
All right. This one, I think, and to me, again, this just, I think this was a slam dunk, a hands down. This was an easy pick for me as well. Morgan Schultz, Deca Fit Worlds. I mean, 8 seed, nobody talking about her coming in. I mean, we all knew she's a legit badass. We all know she's awesome. She always has been. She's gone through some rough times with injuries. Um, but coming in and just on that day, throwing down the perfect run at the perfect time, timing her fitness, doing her own style, not falling into what everybody else is doing, just doing this is what works for me and going from there. So beyond a shadow of doubt, to me, Morgan Schultz winning Deca
Yeah.
Worlds, Deca Fit.
Hmm. I did write that one down also. So I will give another one of mine, which was Alondra winning the Deca Strong. I think this one, and I mean, Alondra and Camila now share the title. But for most people, the Deca Strong for on the women's side was Carly Wopat's to lose. And she took it out like she was going to run away with it also. And Alondra completely came out of nowhere to take it. So that might have been the biggest upset in my
Mhm.
opinion. And then Morgan was just like the biggest underdog performance.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
with the whole, and I'm sure we talked about it a little bit, but just to rehash, controversy around it too was Alondra got to the tank and her tank was on the wrong setting.
Mhm.
So sheer tank was very fast, and then she went through the burpees quickly. So she ended up winning with Camilla coming second and Carly coming third. And as a result of the tank being off, they bumped Camilla up to co-champion with
Mhm.
Alondra, who both ladies were very happy about and thought this was a great resolution.
Yeah.
This is good. As well, Decca has said they're going to give Camilla equal prize money, so she'll get
Mhm.
winner's prize money, and then Carly remains third and down
Yeah.
throughout there. Um, and it ended up so Alondra's tank was like 13 seconds faster than Camilla's, and it seems about right. I honestly think it's probably the best decision they could have made. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was the controversy. But you are right. All the talk going in by everybody, huge, massive world record.
Yeah.
Carly's just needs to take it. And that I remember watching it, and my first sign of weakness, and I said it on the commentary when her form on the dead ball over shoulders started to look a little off.
And Alondra came off the bike and smashed the dead ball over
Oh
shoulders.
yeah.
And Alondra wasn't really so much in the conversation either because she's been coming back into form also. Like we've seen some slower times with her in High Rocks in the Chicago High Rocks before, and she just wasn't normal Alondra because Alondra would normally be in the conversation in the Deca Strong, but she's just been kind of coming back into form. So I don't think most people would have predicted her on the podium. But when I saw her hit the dead balls coming off the bike, she was already like she would have podiumed regardless of her
Oh,
tank. Like she was smashing the second half of that race.
I believe regardless of tank, she wins.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think if the tank was on the proper setting, I think she wins the same way.
Yeah.
Um, could you say Camilla may have got her? Maybe. Maybe she might have. It's definitively
It would have
you
been
could,
down to a fraction of a burpee.
yeah,
Like,
you could
yeah,
argue it either way, and there's no way I could like sit there and go, nope, you're wrong. You could totally argue
yeah,
it either way, and I would accept it as fact. But yeah, I don't think you can say that I don't think you could definitively say she wouldn't have won because
no,
she was turning it on. So, and her
yeah.
burpees were fast. She was lightning through the burpees. And I think
Mhm.
what was she like 8 seed or something like that? Like she was she was
Yeah,
on
maybe
that
something
far
like that.
side. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was on that far side. I think she went in with like a 13, like a 13 something. And I mean, Carly was going in was an 11:55 or more.
55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking more than a minute off the pace.
Hmm.
So yeah, for her to come up, it was a huge upset, but also a great race.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
great race. So
Yeah.
awesome. So yes, there you go. Upsets both from Worlds. Morgan Schultz, Alondra Greenlee, both from the women's division too. Very,
Hmm.
very interesting. It was so many great races there.
Hmm.
All right, here's one. Jack of all trades. And by jack of all trades, I mean people doing everything. People that can just hit all ends of the spectrum, everything inclusive. And this is yours first.
Yeah, okay. This one I was kind of thrown off a little bit because I was like, who does a lot of different things? So for me, it came down to two men, and then the woman I think was a bit easier. But for the two men, I had Rylan and Austin.
Mhm.
So especially this year with Austin. So Rylan just seems to be able to do all the things too. He's not a super specialist, and then even throw in his paragliding that he's got into also. um, but yeah, and he doesn't super specialize. So you could throw Rylan into just about anything, and he's quite adept at it. And then Austin this year, who seemed to be focusing on high rocks, comes out and wins WTM. And he's also a guy who's quite skilled at a lot of other sports too. So again, he was the other jack of all trades that I was saying on the men's side. And then Chris Rogloski, who seems to be able to be up there in contention in just about anything. So whether it's OCR, hybrid racing, WTM, and all of the random, what do you call them? The odd games.
Yeah, the goofy games.
Goofy games, yeah.
Goofy games.
Yeah. She
So
won was it the Grit Games?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very OCR hybrid like still, but yeah, she's up. And then the other one, the Alpha Games,
Alpha Warrior.
Alpha Warrior, yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So for the women, slam dunk, absolutely. Chris Rogowski. It's
Hmm.
almost like they invent this award, or we invented this award for her. They
Yeah.
invent this title for her.
Hmm.
No, I don't care what the competition is. Chris is going to come top five.
Yeah. Even
It's
like throw in horseback riding,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
skateboarding.
Tiddlywinks. She's
Yeah.
she's my bet for top five. She's going to be in that top five.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, and her range of distances
Hmm.
just unbelievable range of distances, and that that fitness level of 24 hours to 10
A
minutes
19-minute 5K.
19, yeah, like she's just
After a 50K the day before.
yeah. And every watching our deck of worlds, every race out of the lunges last and comes
Mhm.
fifth in everything. Like I don't know if she
Yeah.
was literally fifth in everything, but out of the lunges last and
Yeah.
always boom 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 up right there at the end.
Yeah.
just just got that fitness, and she'll go through out there. So Chris was the slam dunk for me. For the men, I went with Austin.
Hmm.
Rylan obviously does everything, he can do everything. He's great. And I would say at the upper limit is probably better than Austin on a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
But I think when you threw in that one, having never seen Rylan really go that far ultra side of it, and
Yeah.
Austin just showing his ability at WTM and just having an incredible year in general. Like
Hmm.
realistically being the best Canadian so far at High Rocks. He had qualified for Decafit stuff, but didn't go there. Always dangerous on OCR scene, and then wins WTM, wins Grit Games, does well at Go Rock games. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
again,
he won Go Ruck.
I don't think he won Go Rock.
Oh.
He won the Grit Games.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of
He
then.
won the
Yeah.
Grit Games,
Yeah.
which again was probably my favorite of the Goofy games,
Uh-huh.
aside from them not letting him use gloves. And if we were supposed to talk to the guy who ran it about that, and maybe we will one
Uh,
day. But yeah, that was a bit of a mistake on their part. But Yeah, two things I had against that was they didn't let him use gloves, and in the end, it kind of came down to a dead hang competition at the end, and I didn't really get that part of it. But anyway, whatever. But Austin prevailed nonetheless. You still gotta
Mhm.
you gotta win. You gotta win. Chris won that. He won that, so it was great. So yeah, so I went with Austin, and very narrowly over
Yeah.
Rylan. And I
Yeah.
mean, Rylan was so good. Yeah. So Austin and Chris, unanimous,
Hmm.
and a nod to Rylan.
Right.
There's
Ab-
yeah.
mhm.
The women's, we don't really have any other women that are even contending for that with Chris.
No.
You
No, I'm trying to
know?
think. Like, oh, I can't even think of someone off the top of my head.
No. Maybe a Katie Knight.
Yeah, she's kind of done the range.
Yeah, but she's not at that level that Chris is. By the way, about Chris, I if I was a woman competing in high rocks right now, I would be really worried because Chris is just ramping up. When it seems
Yeah.
every time I see her in a high rocks race, she looks better and better and better and stronger and
Hmm.
stronger and stronger. So I would be worried if I was the women's high rocks field. I think she's coming. Is she going to win world title like beating Lauren and Meg? Probably not.
Yeah.
Is she a podium threat come then? I think she might be. So
Hmm.
again, like we said, throw in anything. She's going to be top five threat. So
Yeah.
all right. Best venue of the year for high rocks or for high rocks for hybrid or OCR.
Um, yeah, so this one was hard for OCR, but I we've raced a couple times at Navy Pier. I love Navy Pier. I'm biased because we've been there, but I just think Chicago and the Navy Pier venue, we've done high rocks there, we've done a deck fit there. It's so great. And I think the location is fantastic and it's close to kind of everything. Beautiful scenery outside and just a great space in general. Again, I haven't been to too many, mostly Deca Fits, and I don't think they really make the top 10 list of venues. I mean, Deca Worlds is kind of a cool spot this year in Dallas, but it's still an abandoned old fairgrounds. But yeah, I think Navy Pier is a quite spectacular venue for hybrid racing.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Um, OCR, I didn't go to any OCRs outside of Canada this year. I don't think. But I can imagine, and from what I have heard, Mammoth Lakes would have been beautiful.
Hmm.
And everyone that came back said it was one of their favorite venues of all time. It was just a bit too remote to get the masses, I think, which the location for me just took it off of my list of races this year. But I know Mammoth Lakes is very beautiful. And then the Greece trifecta location is always a lot of people's top venues also. And it's a race that people will go back to because, again, the location is just so outstanding.
You know, you cheat at this, right? You keep naming two things for one thing. You can't, you got Grease and
Well,
Mammoth. You keep cheating.
if I had been to one or the other, I could probably pick. Hmm.
All right. So for the OCR thing, I was actually going to go in a different direction. And just because I thought it did look fairly spectacular, was Abu Dhabi. The race looked very interesting. They were in this little, it wasn't like they were out in the middle of the desert this time on dune buggies. They were kind of in this little community thing they had, despite the fact that they shouldn't have been showing people dancing and playing drums while the race was going on. They had some cool stuff going on. It just, it looked kind of cool. So for OCR, that was my other one. Was thinking of Greece as well before that because I think Greece and the trifecta saved Spartan's competitive season. I think that race brought back legitimacy and people were like, oh yes, that's right. There is a competitive side of OCR. And it was really that I think that's a great race. Part of me is like, just make that the world championship for Spartan because people
I
have bought
know.
into it. And it's a cool format and
Hmm.
everybody enjoys it and they like it and they love the venue. And I would be down with that, despite the fact, no, was there any controversy there? Like it was just good.
Yeah, I don't remember controversy. No.
No. And the people that I know that have gone, they've all rave about it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Greece was awesome. For me, for although I love Navy Pier as well, and you are right. I'm sorry, Deca, we love you, but right now you don't seem to be able to do the that atmosphere at a venue yet. I mean, I think still the best races happen at Deca, but even when they're at Navy Pier, it just does not seem quite as grand
Yeah.
as when Hyrox is there.
Yeah.
So sorry about that one. But it came down to two races for me, and neither of them were Navy Pier. Two venues. Manchester Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
They had that cool venue and the way they set it up and the four laps and the atmosphere was just amazing. That was great. And that was really good. But I am gonna go with Singapore.
Oh,
Singapore
Singapore. Yes.
was in that really cool stadium. And I mean, yes, it didn't have the the fanfare that Manchester Worlds did and that um what's it called? Like that cozy, tight-knit environment. But what it did show us what this race would look like in a big stadium if you
Uh-huh.
had a giant crowd in there. And I thought, oh, well, I remember just seeing the first pictures. I'm like, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
So I went with Singapore for High Rocks for that.
I forgot about that venue. You're right. Yeah.
It was so cool the first pictures when I saw it.
Yeah.
I was just
Mm.
like, that's where you want to do it. That just look and it made me think too, like, could you imagine doing this in the Sky Dome? Sorry, Rogers Center.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
Sky Dome with that dome open and like could just one day like tons of people in the stands, like how epic that would be.
It becomes like an actual spectator sport.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It just would look so cool. So Singapore
Yeah.
wins it for me. That even though it wasn't there and really wasn't streamed to the best of abilities, it just looked right. All right.
hmm
So we'll go Singapore for thingy and then Greece for OCR. Singapore for hybrid, Greece for OCR. All right. All right. Newcomer of the year, a man and a woman. And I guess I'll go first on this one. Is it me
Yeah.
first? All right. Newcomer of the year for me. And again, this is somebody who could have been considered for jack of all trades. Isaac Sanderson. Isaac Sanderson, the newcomer out there. He's doing lots of stuff. Um, came on the DECA scene, was really good there. Looks really strong at High Rocks. Everything he's been doing, he's just been doing really well and kind of out of nowhere. Like still a young dude, and I think isn't even close to his potential at any of it.
He's only been running a year and a half,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
And if you run beside him, you're like, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's just so solid and
Now,
he's
he does come from running type sports though.
yes.
So that helps. What ultimate frisbee,
Ultimate frisbee,
which
yeah.
is no joke actually when it comes out.
Even though we're gonna joke about it.
I know, and we're laughing, but it's it's a very difficult sport, and there's a lot of intense running.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, he's looked so good. So for me, I think just the fact that he's come out of nowhere, that he's not someone that anyone saw coming. Like, I mean, other than obviously Rylan helping train him, but he just looked great. I think there's really bright future for Isaac. And when I look at people like him and VJ and Nick Riker, all in the young guys in the hybrid stuff, Rylan, big time bright future there.
Yeah.
So Isaac Sanderson for the men. And then for the women, I had and this shouldn't be a surprise, Lauren Griffiths.
Oh.
Lauren Griffiths just on a tear. All of a sudden, she has become a serious player in High Rock and in the hybrid scene. Now, not so much in the OCR, but in the hybrid scene, she has just been on a tear and has gone from who was that to watch out for Lauren in this race. And that's not just for watch out for her. Oh, she's going to do a good job and come top 10. That's watch out for her. She might knock off the big names.
hmm
And
hmm
she is a person who races a way that I love watching at the very least because she comes out and she's like, I'm in it to win it. And I'm going to be up here until someone knocks me off.
hmm
I always
She
find it
races like her coach.
races like her coach. Absolutely. Like, yeah, yeah. There's almost like a big sister thing going on there.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, so Lauren Rivers, Isaac Sanderson.
So that's interesting. I wrote Isaac also for
Mhm.
newcomer. Isaac did a bit of OCR before this year, but this is his first season in hybrid racing. And again, for all the reasons that you said, super bright future. But I actually I wrote down a different name for the females because Lauren has actually been around for a while.
Yeah.
So to me, she really isn't a newcomer. I think this year she's stepped it up big time. But she's been around the OCR scene for a couple of years. Um, and like I have noticed her before. Um, but so for me this year it was Carly Wopat.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So again, she came onto the scene, did her first event was earlier this year. It was which one? It was one of the odd games. And then she did a high rocks, and then she's just been on a tear ever since. And again, started running this year, so she's very new to running. So again, her potential in hybrid racing, and she still does play volleyball, but we know that she is really loving the hybrid racing scene, and it obviously very much suits her. Um, so yeah, she is my newcomer of the year, and again, she set a world record this year in deck strong. So.
All right. So obviously we're unanimous on Isaac Sanderson, and I'm going to give you Carly Wopat. I think you're right.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? It's funny because we call them goofy games or odd games or whatever, and that is a bit disparaging, and we shouldn't really be that way. Well, some of them deserve to be called goofy games, but realistically, in my mind, I call them fitness competitions because that's what they are, right? They're a fitness competition. They could be a surprise thing. They could be whatever. Who knows? That new Athex over in England right now, same thing. I don't call them, and I'm very particular about my titles. I don't call them hybrid races. They're multi-event fitness competitions, is what I call them.
Mhm.
And that's because that's exactly what it is,
Yeah.
right? They're multi different stages.
Except I think people still, when they think fitness competition, they think stages.
Yeah, which is daft because that's a beauty pageant. It is. All right, or shall we call it an aesthetic competition?
Yes, it's an aesthetic
It's an
competition.
aesthetic competition. You don't necessarily have to be fit to win. You just got to look fit. To me, those are two different things. And I'm not trying to slam on them either because they work their asses
Oh
off
yeah.
and do some of the
Yeah.
most horrible things possible to get in that kind of shape. I
Hmm.
mean, it's beyond the realm of understanding the mental strength and willpower it takes to do that.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's a yeah to not eat your pizza. But it's yeah, those are an aesthetic competition in my mind. If a multi-event fitness competition is Battle
Hmm.
Bunker, Athex,
Yeah.
um, Rally in the Valley.
Hmm.
Um, and there's some great ones too. That Rally in the Valley is a great one. That Athex is a good one. The one
Well,
that
an
Rich Froning,
RX1, it's not a multi-event, but again, it's
yeah, yeah. And
what
under my definition of hybrid racing, RX1 does not actually fit
RX1
because
doesn't fit.
no, because the movements are too skilled.
Well, in pro.
Yeah, in pro, expert and down, I would say, and even
Yeah.
experts a bit iffy. But yeah, I would say
Yeah.
yeah. So to me, it doesn't quite fit. But Rich Froning puts on a good one too in Tennessee too. That's another great one with a lot of trail running and different stuff. So I would say that
Hmm.
that actually is probably a team hybrid race. So anyway, not slagging on the fitness competitions. They just Rich Froning kind of coined that Goofy Games phrase, and it's caught on.
Oh,
And
did he?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was him. That was him that called it started the Goofy Games. I don't mind your odd games. It's different, but wacky races from
Well,
back
then
in the
you think
cartoon.
like potato sack stuff.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, you don't know because you didn't watch cartoons as a kid, but the Wacky Races used to be like a cartoon with all these guys
Oh.
where they have like these crazy cars and all this stuff. So
Mm.
it was a bit different. It was like the Decamile relay. There's a lot of bumping and shoving.
Oh.
Watching back, I've watched that race a number of times. It's very exciting to watch.
Uh-huh.
It
Yeah.
might be a little dangerous in the middle of it at times,
Yeah, it was dangerous.
but only, I think really realistically only the first lap and getting to the lunges. After that, it
Yeah.
seems to calm down. But
Yeah.
that first opening bit, there might be some logic in getting out really quick and getting to the front.
We're just staying back.
Just staying even further back, yeah. But you get such in the hole. Like our position was so bad on the lunges
I
where we
know.
had to get to. We added so much distance to our race and stuff, and time getting there and getting out,
Uh-huh.
and still came sixth, by the way, kicking
Yeah.
awesome. All right, all right. So newcomers there. I almost want to save this one the most memorable moment. I almost want to save that one for last.
Oh, maybe you have a big moment because I struggled with that one.
Oh, did you? Okay, okay, okay. All right, well, we'll go with that one then. We'll go with that. So, so you can go first because I do have a good moment. So, most memorable moment.
Okay. I like this one. I struggled with the most, to be honest, because again, it's like I know I'm biased because I was at races where I felt the moment, so you just have a feeling around it. But um, at a race, a single moment that, well, okay, so yeah, it would have been Kevin Gregory on the bike, period.
Okay.
Because it was, we're in this sport where a lot of people are jacks of all trades and we're hybrid, so we're good at a lot of things. But Kevin Gregory to me this year was the ultimate specialist in an event and even a part of a hybrid race. And so he is so dialed into a single aspect of it that every time he stepped on it, everybody watched. And when he made the big move in the strong and casually strolled up to the bike, smashed it, took the lead, and never looked back, I've never seen crowds go so crazy in a single race in my entire life, and to have something just change so quickly from a single station, like so commandingly. And just, everybody was just so excited, and people love Kevin Gregory, so the excitement was even that much bigger. And again, I know I'm biased because I was there and I felt it, but to me, that was probably one of my most memorable moments this year.
And I said Kevin Gregory's winning Deca Straw.
Well, there you go.
And I don't think there's even a competition. Like it was
Mhm.
just it was that moment where, and I could think about this if like I was there, I did the commentary on. I was like, one, I was choked up because I couldn't talk, but I was choked up for the moment too.
Mhm.
And it was the moment, and I remember him coming off that bike and literally, and you won't be able to see me unless you're watching, doing one of these on my chair. Like
He
just
bounces out of the, yeah,
yeah, just it was that moment that if you were watching it at home, you got up out of your seat a little bit. You just
yeah,
you could see how amazing it was. And then the crowd reaction was just unreal. That was like
yeah,
it was like the introduction of a retired superstar coming back. It was just
yeah. Hmm.
unbelievable. So it wasn't even close. That I had that like I almost as soon as I wrote down moment of the year, I'm like, yeah, that's it. It's there's no
Yeah.
competition. It
Hmm.
was amazing. And yeah, and his reaction to the moment just
Hmm.
added to it,
Yeah.
So yeah, no doubt Kevin Gregory, and we could not have the list without having him on it.
Yeah.
He has to be in there somewhere because, like you
Hmm.
said, he was a specialist, and I almost differ from you. I know it seems like he specialized in that one thing, and he kind of did, but what he did is he just amplified his strength to mean so much. He was so dialed into every time he needed for each zone, doom, 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 leading up to that bike. So in order he could do the thing and have enough energy left afterwards to finish.
Hmm.
He is probably the most analytical racer I know. Him
Hmm.
and I've always said it, Tara, they're dialed into exactly
Yeah.
what they need to do.
Hmm.
So yeah, far and away, great moment. And I would love I've watched that again and again and just it was just
Hmm.
fantastic. My only regret is I wish I had a voice to call that better because it would have been just so cool.
Hmm.
And by the way, they mentioned me in one when he put a post about it, about the call I had at the end, about them and their squad, and that even that I was like, stoked to even be mentioned as a part of it. I was like, just awesome. So
Hmm.
Kevin Gregory on the bike, winning, it's almost one and the same. So
Hmm.
that moment for sure. Okay, best race finish of the year.
Um, okay,
I
so
get I guess I think I'm first
wait.
for this one.
Yep, you're first for this one.
Okay. This was a little bit more difficult, and I am glad that I got to go to OCR for this one. And I'm going to
Hmm.
say the 3K finish between Nicole Miracle and Lindsay Webster. And Lindsay looking like she had it, and Nicole just selling out on that last obstacle to get it done. And that obstacle being a real obstacle, not a spear throw, not a laser pistol, not a
Yeah.
random chance luck, but an actual really good, I think one of the best obstacles they had on course, with the Dragon's back into the overhead cargo net and selling it and crossing that line just ahead of Lindsay. And not just for the fact of how close it was, but for the fact of who she beat.
Hmm.
And just, I mean, we all know Lindsay is the greatest of all time. And to beat her on any day is an accomplishment at any race. But to beat her at World Championship is in altitude with climbing is just shows.
And this is Nicole's comeback year.
Yeah,
So to see her regain that 3K title, that was my race finish of the year
there
too.
you go. So yeah, go
And
on, go on.
actually, it was the one race finish that I watched on repeat and I found everybody's stories because I was like, how did she do that? how
Mhm.
did she do it? Like, how did she get up the cargo net so fast and pass her? And yeah, I felt like I watched it from every angle, from everybody's phone that was taking a video of it. Yeah, so I had it too. But yeah, and some of it too is like you were saying, it was Nicole's comeback story and beating who she beat. Just kind of made it that much more big.
Yeah, and showing Nicole like that she's back, and I hope next year that she is involved heavily in racing OCR and pushes back into it because it would be great to see her back in there, and it would be great to see her and Lindsay battle again and have a lot of those names back. Her, Lindsay,
If Lindsay
Chris.
races OCR.
Yeah, exactly. And now with the money not being there for the individual races, it's a tough one to say. She may just pop in for the big one like big ones like she did this year. And that's hey, I mean, she's got to make a living. That's her prerogative, and that's cool. But yeah, unanimous. Best finish of the year, far and away. Did anything else even enter your mind?
So the only one, and I'm saying this because it's Canadian content, but one of the best finishing a race to watch was LA at High Rocks, where we had Austin and Jesse and Isaac all wall balling together, and so that finish was just memorable as a Canadian fan, to have all the Canadians out there in LA just crushing that High Rock. So that was just a Canadian moment.
And not just Canadian content at the moment, but but Jesse literally hunting Isaac or hunting Austin on the
Austin.
wall balls. Like he was another 30 wall balls. If that was 125 wall balls, I think Jesse maybe catches him. Right.
Hmm.
Like it was going down to it. And Jesse was pushing so hard and Austin looking like he had such a comfortable lead.
Yeah.
Jesse just coming back. That was a really good finish and did enter my mind too as well. But
Hmm.
as that was a good one. Yeah, yeah. So there was finishes at Deca that we could have thrown in there too. Tara on the winning the 1 mile championship, passing on the burpees at the end, was a great finish as well.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, this is your problem. You were in that race. You didn't get to see that.
I didn't see it. Yeah,
So I
that's
got
true.
to see it.
I'm
I was
sure that
right.
was pretty amazing.
I was right at the line for that one. And
I
that
heard it.
what's that?
I, but yeah,
Oh, there you go. You got a vote here. Riley says Bethany and Heather's finish at Worlds.
thank you. That
There you
race
go,
was
Riley.
my memorable moment of the year,
You
personally.
know what? That was a pretty epic moment because you guys, when you did it the time before, last year, you guys were ahead from the get-go and just went through it.
Yeah,
This year, you were like
we
last
were
coming into the
last.
lunges.
Well, we were like second last going into lunges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean,
And it's
really,
not because we were running that slow. It's because the field went out so fast.
yeah, we've talked about Amber and her like, ladies, what are we
She was
doing?
like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
And good for Amber for realizing that, showing that she knows the sport.
Yeah.
This is way too fast.
Yeah, it was so fast. Yeah, we were seventh or eighth at the lunges. Still fifth, I think, at the ski erg. So,
Yeah, well, you guys didn't take the lead until going into the dead ball over the wall
yeah.
because you made that little pass right
Yeah.
going in there, and you could tell
I
that
made
was
a
a
little
silent.
pass going into the bike, tiny
That's right.
little, just a psychological move. And then I made a big pass going into dead balls,
Yeah, yeah. So
fueled by the excitement of Heather's sub 60 bike.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So you
I was like,
guys,
oh boy.
it was a good race and a good finish, and you guys deserve one. It was all that fun and a world record. So
Mhm.
that was good. And you know what? We don't have it on the list. Canadian hybrid moment of the year, right there. That's my
Oh,
Canadian
thank
hybrid
you.
moment of the year. Was not on my list at all, but I'm putting it out there. All right. Um, best, did we say this best overall event of the year? And this is you, so you're starting.
Yeah, this was maybe actually harder than the other one. Um, so I wrote down High Rocks in general. I think High Rocks puts on, from the vibe, from the feeling in the venue, from the like the everything, the whole race setup, the media, all of it. I think they put on probably the best in general event when it comes to hybrid racing. If you've ever, and we've talked before, like it just feels different at a Duck Fit and a High Rocks, and they've got it right as far as like just the feeling you get at a High Rocks. Even the finish line, you
Mhm.
know, the giant screen and you go up onto the stage and like all of it, they've done it very, very well. The production of High Rocks, I think, is probably the best hybrid race that I've done.
So I'm going to let you away with that, even though it's a bit of a cop-out. I'm going to let you away with it because in my mind, the event I'm picking is High Rocks Worlds in Manchester.
Mhm.
Again, all that stuff that you just said combined with that close-knit atmosphere in a beautiful venue and the way they brought everybody together, they made it so that you were right on top of the athletes.
Yeah.
They did everything right there except for a random karaoke singing of Wonderwall by Oasis, which nobody seemed to understand. But
I don't
I'm
remember.
serious, it happened. Nobody gets it, but it happened. Maybe they had some timing issues and they had the MC and the anthem singer just do this for some reason. Nobody
Mhm.
knows, but it did. But other than that, it was an epic, epic event, and it was a great stream. They did a good job on all fronts there. They brought it to people well. It was good racing. And yeah, so for me, that was the event. I did have a slight inclination about Grease Trifecta as well as
Yeah.
being a great one. Biased Deck of Worlds, we were there, had so much fun, but I can't compare the level of atmosphere compared to the other two.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah, High Rocks Worlds in Manchester, I think.
Mhm.
And I have no reason to expect why this year in France will be any different.
Mhm.
I think it'll be another great one. All right, best OCR athlete, man and woman.
Um, yep, struggled a bit with this one too. And again, I'm gonna I wrote down a whole bunch of names for the women, but um so for me the OCR athlete of the year for males was Ryan Kempson.
Nice.
Probably one of the final male athletes who's still is sticking to OCR and has stuck to a single series and it's still his focus. There's still a lot of these, I wrote down VJ first, but I know this year VJ he did win OCRWC the 3K again, but um
No, he didn't.
no, sorry, he didn't
Rylan,
go.
Rylan
No.
won it.
Yeah. He
He
what
won the Worlds 3K for Spartan.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And then but he's also like has seems to be shifting his focus a bit more into hybrid racing too. So I think as our pure OCR athlete, giving it to Ryan Kempson, the winner of the Savage series. And again, like just phenomenal on obstacles, like yeah,
All
just
right,
top of the
I'm
world.
gonna nick you though because I gotta correct you. He actually came second in the Savage Series.
Deshaun Roberts.
John Roberts got him by 1 point.
Okay, I couldn't remember off the top of
But
my head. I was hoping I was
that
right.
said, Rylan
Yeah,
did come out and win Spartan 3Ks. Looked dominant
yeah,
at the one in the Poconos where he beat Ryan Atkins. He beat Rylan Stagg. He beat a lot of big names there,
yeah.
and looked really good there, just looking dominant essentially. So I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that. And for women,
I think it's a miss usually to not say Lindsay. She is, every time she won the world champs again for Spartan this year. And then, I mean, Nicole won the 3K. She's still, again, that like the obstacle specialist. It's tough to ever beat Nicole. But then you have Esther, who really took it to Lindsay again at Spartan Worlds in the Beast, and so and her running is just so phenomenal. And as a smaller athlete, doesn't seem to be as phased from heavy carries like you would think. And, also is a monster on obstacles.
yeah.
So I think if we were taking it outside of North America and looking more global, it would be Esther. So it was like, it kind of to me came down to then Lindsay and Esther.
Hmm.
And that would be a coin flip because I think if you brought Lindsay to Esther's territory, then it would be Esther. But I
Hmm.
think that long grindy beast. But again, they were neck and neck in Spartan World. So
It was great racing. It was
mhm.
really good racing on that,
And
and
Esther did have her for a while.
it
So
was really a two-person race,
yeah,
realistically. So
yeah,
it was great to see, and I get a lot of respect for Esther this year. Just and I mean, if you watch her, like just that shuffling running style that you just think, oh my God,
hmm
how can she possibly be that fast? But she is. And you're like,
she
oh,
is.
well, maybe she's not that good at obstacles. No, she is really good at
Or
obstacles too.
even maybe the sandbag carry, double sandbag carry is going to destroy her, but it didn't.
No, no, she just
Yeah.
keeps going. So she is legit.
Mhm.
One of the best. Name you didn't mention, and I'm not saying that this is my pick, but name you didn't mention, and you have to throw in there is again Chris Rogowski.
Well, so I did write her down.
Okay, yeah,
She's on,
winning
yeah,
WTM,
those were my four.
winning some of the 3Ks, like, and you didn't mention
The
this again with
Savage.
that Savage as well.
Mhm.
Lindsay in Greece as well. She was great there too, and her and Esther as well, battling back and forth there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chris is definitely someone who deserves some mentioning in there. But yeah, I gotta go with Lindsay as well, just because when it comes down to it, I mean, she did win the 15K at OCRWC. She did win the 3K at Spartan. She came second in the 15K. She won Greece. Like she is
Yeah.
still the GOAT. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody in the current crop has a chance to surpass her accomplishments. Maybe an Esther, maybe a Chris Rogowski, but Chris would have to step up her game and not be that top five. She'd have to be
Well,
that winning everything.
I think right now in the climate of the sport and hybrid racing, we're just not having people focusing on entirely OCR, and like we don't have the elite scene in Spartan right now. And so I think the OCR world would have to be like when Lindsay started OCR in order
Mhm.
to have a person that could even come up to compete against what she's done in the sport.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just so different now. Our athletes are being split between hybrid racing and OCR and trail racing too.
yeah. So my pick is, like I said, is Lindsay. And then for the men, yeah, and this was a lot harder. Like you said,
Hmm.
this was tricky. But I went with Rylan Shadag. Won this 3K World Championship and OCRWC. Went over, raced in Greece, did well in some of the Spartan 3Ks. He's got a win there. I don't think there was any man who was dominant across the board, but he at least had his nose in everything and had some wins in a lot of stuff. So I went with, yeah, I went with Rylan. Um, and I can't say by a landslide by any stretch of the
Yeah,
imagination. There was a lot of thought for some of the guys, Kempson being one of them, but I went with Rylan. And
fair.
yeah, prove me wrong. I don't know.
Hmm.
Should mention
Yeah.
failing two obstacles.
Yeah. You could throw in Austin in there too with his performance at WTM,
Yeah.
failing two obstacles over 105 miles.
Right. Yeah.
It, and
Yeah.
and that is it really should be the definition of an obstacle racer.
Hmm.
And that's the reason he won Grit Games too, was his obstacle proficiency there and his
Yeah.
grip strength and whatnot. So you could put him in there as a name, but I'm still gonna go with Riley.
Hmm.
All right, so this is our last one. Best hybrid athlete, men and women.
Who's starting?
I think it's me this time.
Yeah, it's you.
No, and so for women, and this was really, really hard. And it's
Yeah.
coming down to the end of the year too. Um, oh wow. And you'd almost love to say a tie, but I do have to pick one, and I'm going to pick Lauren Weeks only because over Meg, only because she is the current reigning world champion for high rocks. And as well, she does go in Deca and does a great job in Deca, but so does Meg. And recently, that's really become in contention because Meg has got the better of Lauren over the past few,
Hmm.
and it's
And just set another world record, broke her own world record in high
broke
rock.
her own world record as well. So it's really, really hard. And I
I
was
know.
like, oh my God, I don't know. Here's the thing, I'm calling it Lauren this year, but I I think that might change for next year. I mean, I hate to say because I love Lauren, but
Well, and
also
how do you count Lauren out?
yeah, you can't because she wasn't supposed to win this year. Last like in 2023, she was, Meg was the favorite going in there, and Michaela was they were the ones, and then Lauren showed up on race day and said today's my day, and that's not beyond Lauren to do it again. So.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't cut it out. So, but I am going to go with Lauren for this one by the slightest of margins, by like imperceptible line,
Yeah.
like it literally the coin flip. So
Mm.
that's what I got for. And then for men, this one was a lot easier for me. And I went again with Rylan. Rylan with the male record for every distance at DECA
Yeah.
and definitively top three in high rocks. And then competitor in the multi-event fitness competitions. Won some of those, has been competitive in those. which I guess you could use it closer to hybrid. So yeah, I got Rylan for that for sure. And yeah, what else? World champ at the fit, world champ at the mile, second in the strong, and currently has like the second or third fastest time in high rocks on the year. And I would say is definitively a podium threat for worlds because he's getting better every race.
Hmm.
So yeah, I got Rylan
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. So, um, I will mirror what you said then with Rylan. He was the easy pick for me again, three Deca world records. His high rocks times are knocking at the door of again trying to set a world record there too. And so that one was pretty definitive. And then I wrote down about six names on the women's side, but
Oh, let's hear him.
I so it was like Megan Lauren, obviously
Mhm.
are one and two. But then I was thinking if Vivian Tafuto made it to Deca Fit Worlds, sorry, Deca Worlds, and let's say she won all three, which would have like that's not out of the question.
No, no.
She was after what we saw, what she did in High Rocks, like she was coming into form for that Deca Fit. She has the world record in the Deca Mile, and then anything could have happened in that Deca Strong again.
Recently in the Deca Fit beat Tara, Camilla, and Meg.
Right. Yes. Right before coming into Deca World. So again, if Viv came to Deca World and took all three, I think we would be having a bit of a different conversation also.
Mhm.
Um, because again, you'd never want to put High Rocks ahead of Deca. We're both hybrid races. We have a tendency to put High Rocks athletes a bit ahead just because I think it's the harder, longer race. But so I wrote Meg, Lauren, and Viv because I think if she had been at Deca World, I think it would be a different conversation. Um,
Yeah, that's true. It's very much of a what could have happened.
yeah, but again, it didn't. So again, and then we have Tara in there. We have Chris Rogowski. Chris again didn't podium, but is always there when it comes to your hybrid races. Always.
Mhm.
So like the overall hybrid athletes, obviously Chris would be in there too. Tara again, a world championship in the Deca Mile on the podiums regularly. But yeah, overall, but again, Meg and Lauren were not at Deca Worlds either. So again, what if?
Mhm.
But yeah, again, it does come down to Meg and Lauren this season. But it seemed to me that Meg came out on top a few more times this year. Lauren comes out on top when it counted at Worlds, though. So it's a coin toss. I
Exactly.
don't know.
It was really
I
hard. It
don't
was
know.
you got to pick one. I at least picked one.
Oh no,
No, no, she refuses.
it's so hard. I'm gonna pick Meg for the more recent races and setting the world record, her own breaking her own world record.
Yeah, and that's why I said we're really made it hard. If this had happened, if we were doing this in August, it would have been a lot easier.
Maybe. Like, I
You
don't know.
know?
Not really. It's still them, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but I would have found it easier because Meg wouldn't have done a few things that she did
yeah,
by that time. But
yeah.
so the biggest question will get asked, and I get asked this all the time when it comes to the top 20 hybrid rankings is why not Hunter? And I
Uh-huh.
keep explaining to people he does one thing. That's
Yeah,
all he does. And is he great at it? Hell yeah. He is amazing at it. And
yeah,
would he decimate people in DECA? Maybe. He might not. I'm not going to say for sure he would because it's a different deal. Um, you know, he'd be great. He'd be absolutely great. Would he win? I don't know. And we probably will never know because Hunter seemed to have no inclination to do it. And I'm not sure why, because they say, oh, it's because of the money. Well, I don't really buy that part either because to have gone to that weekend, he could have made 9 grand,
yeah.
right? So,
Hmm.
I don't really buy that. And I know there's events in Malibu that are very close to his house, and he does other events that don't make him any money, like marathons and whatnot. So I don't buy that. Um, but yes, he's absolutely fantastic at High Rocks, and he is the best High Rocks racer. But that's all he does. And right now, for me, that's not enough to say he's the best overall.
Hmm. Yeah, agreed.
That's it. That's the reason why, and it'll continue to be the reason why. And that's why when we do the rankings, I usually have him right now as number 3.
Hmm.
So come at me, bro. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what we had set up. So that was good. I like that. I think you had some good calls. You had some ones there that I didn't think of, and that was good. I do want to ask you a couple more things. One thing, and I think this is something you and I differ about. So this year, um, age group relays for DECA. You're not sold on them.
No.
No. So what's the issue?
I just think it's like everyone's going to go to the world championships, which is great, but I just think it's it's a bit diluting a championship in a way, where we there could just be so many people there too.
Mhm.
And I think it should just be still the like the top 20.
But they do it
It's
for High Rocks.
They do age group
Age group
championships
championships at Worlds, yeah.
for teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And individuals.
I'm imagining like the weekend already felt so long. I can't even imagine more championships. Like, and we were still there from like 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. every day.
Hmm.
And man, it's gonna be a long day. I don't know. So there's two age groups, correct?
Three, I think three.
Three.
Yeah, so there's like um what is it? I think it's like 60. Yeah, so it's your combined age, right? So I think
Uh-huh.
it's like 60, 64 to 80 or to 79 and then 80 to 99,
Uh-huh.
99 to 119. Oh, and then 119 and up.
Yeah.
S-
Does High Rocks make people race in the elite race when they've qualified for age group?
No, I don't think they do, but in High Rocks it's different because it's just one race and then everybody who's not in the top three is into the age group thing, right?
That makes more sense.
And I agree it does. So what I would like to see, and I'm for the age group thing, but I do agree with you, it's gonna make for super long days. But I actually would be okay with DECA for the elite now that they are introducing more age group stuff, going back to a 12 or a 10 for the elite.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that way you just got one wave. Because let's be honest, the second wave didn't get a lot of attention anyway.
Yeah.
And yes, it was great that those people got to race in the championship, and that's awesome. But I would be okay if they went back to the one wave for that. And then at that point, and this would be the rule in my mind, if you team or individual have a top, let's call it 12, because that's what they did the first year, top 12 time, you're going elite.
Yes.
You can't drop back to age group. You're going to elite or you're not racing. That's your choice,
Yeah.
right? Because
Hmm.
otherwise you're just sandbag. And
Yeah.
then make the age groups 12, 15, however many, but again, one wave,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then that would reduce the time also then,
Yeah, exactly.
in the
You would
day.
because you'd take what we just had and half the field
Yeah.
or half the timelines, right? Because you'd
Yeah.
be getting rid of the second wave for each group, right?
Hmm.
And then to have that, and then you could have more, so you'd have your age group. And I think that way would go flow better. And as well, it would be more logical where, your age groups make more sense to be there because they didn't make elite, so they're automatically into age group.
Yeah.
So that would be the way I would like to see it.
Hmm.
Would that
Yes.
meet with your approval?
Well, that would be better. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. And yeah, so I think it'd be fun. And I do know, I'll tell you this, that I know in our little gym, there's a lot of people excited about the age group teams.
Yeah, it's more I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but more entry level friendly, doing a team race anyways, and
Mhm.
then knowing your time isn't up against necessarily like the best of the best in it. Also, you're kind of focusing on, especially as you get like later in your years when and yeah,
And
you're
let's
not
be honest, like DECA's got to pay for this event, right? They got to pay to put it on. They got to make money at it, and the more people they get to race, the more money they can make.
yeah, and in some ways it feels like that kind of decision,
And it
which
might
it's
be,
business at the end.
it
Hmm.
might be, but if that kind of business decision allows for a really great elite race, I'm all for it.
Maybe more prize money.
Maybe more prize money, maybe extra stuff. And that's what I mean. If it's age group people like me that pay more so that we can have cool races like that, I'm down to do my part. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's great,
Mhm.
and yeah. So I'm excited about it. I'm
Mhm.
teaming up with my art department wife to do a strong. We're gonna
Mhm.
hopefully qualify for age group. She's gonna need some tips on our strategy, Beth. She's already said she will not touch the bike.
I don't either.
So it's gonna be fun. And hopefully we see a lot of you people out at Farm Girl at the end of January for the first strong of the year, which incidentally they did already have to add more team spots because so many people are interested in doing team.
Mhm.
And there's some good excitement for that. So sign up, get ready to go. You got anything else for today, Beth?
I do not.
All right.
So this concludes then our 2023 recap episode. Again, let us know your opinions on our picks. We
Mhm.
all have different ideas about this, so we will kindly accept any differing opinions that you have. You can write them in the comments on our Instagram, and we'd love to get into some little debates about this. We have lots of amazing athletes in OCR and hybrid, and again, like there's so many people that we could have picked for different things, and it's just kind of fun at the end of the day to discuss these things again. And so, congrats to everybody that had an amazing 2023. If you didn't, here's looking ahead to 2024. And to everybody else that did also, it's going to be an amazing year. There are a lot of new things coming out also. So, all the best to everybody. Thanks for listening. We are beginning our third year of OFX podcast. We started exactly 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. We're up. This is 3 years ago. This is
Wait, no, it's after.
We've done 2 full years, right? Or three.
no, this is 3 full years. This is starting our fourth because we've done 160 some odd episodes.
Okay, so I time flies when you're having fun. We are starting our fourth year of OFX podcast. So thanks to everyone who continues to listen and support us. So it means a lot. We're here to have fun. But yeah, we enjoy it and we love getting to meet everybody who's listeners and all the support means a lot to us.
Awesome. Take care, everybody.